What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode number 36. Today, I'm going to share with you some of my goals for 2023, and I think it's helpful to, uh, very helpful for me to kind of lay this out. But more importantly, I really want to share with you some of my goals and the steps that I'm taking because I think my goals are probably pretty common and might actually appeal to many people out there, wherever they're at in their journey. The rules and kind of steps that I'm taking to achieve these things are pretty accessible for most people, and they can be applied to most people's situations. Because my goals, like everyone else, I want to be stronger, want to live healthier, I want to provide more for my family, both being there but also financially. So I think my goals aren't crazy unique, and that's why I wanted to share with you these goals and what my plan is. So if you guys are listening to this, you can also check us out on YouTube, and you'll have a full video there. We go through there, but wherever you're listening to it, watching it, leave me a comment. I appreciate the support. Make sure you hit the subscribe on YouTube. We're trying to build this guy out here, but yeah, we're gonna jump in here, and I have five big goals, and each goal, um, there's probably like two or three areas of my life that the goals are in, and I think it's important, when I'm laying out these goals of kind of section into like a Q1, a quarter one. So basically the first 3 or 4 months, that's kind of where my head's at. Now, obviously I have long-term goals here, but I like to really kind of time crunch my goals there so that they're very relevant and I have kind of some timelines on it. Just like we'd make a SMART goal. We want to make sure that we have, they're specific, they're measurable, they're attainable, they're realistic, and then we have timelines on it. I may have messed that up, but you get the point. SMART. So, real quick, I thought this was something funny. Clients of mine and some people on my social media account. So apparently there was somebody on TikTok that made, I don't know the guy's handle. He's got what, 50, 60,000 followers or something, but he was out there and he made the six most annoying people in the gym. Whatever. Number two was the kettlebell guy. And yours truly was the picture. Now, for any of you guys who know me and my training, I kind of do a little bit of everything, but I chuckled because I was like, oh wow, all my clients were like, oh my God, is that you, Mike? And it was a photo from a photo shoot I did back in New York. I don't know, probably 5 years ago with Barbend. But it was just funny. But yeah, if you're a kettlebell person, screw it, right? This is the time of year where there's going to be people, unfortunately, whether this guy on TikTok or anybody other people, they're just doing it for clicks and likes. So what I would do in that situation, I find the heaviest kettlebell and I would go swing it and do you, right? There's also some other people out there, companies who are, trying to shame people for wanting to get out in the fitness space and attack their goals, and they have resolutions. It's the time of the year. I've been in this industry now for, oh gosh, going on almost 2 decades. A couple years away from 2 decades. That's crazy. It's like a cycle. It comes and goes, right? People come in, the influx is there, the New Year's crowd, whatever it is. If that's you, thumbs up to you, right? Don't let anybody make you feel like crap because, you're part of the New Year's resolutions wave that's coming in and you're not going to stick with it. Whatever, right? We've all started somewhere. If you're somebody who's saying that crap to people, just lay off, man, because just remember, you might think you're pretty advanced, but there's somebody always out there. There's always a bigger fish. So if you need to be checked, somebody can come and find and check you. So we need the fitness industry and we need just humanity and society to have each other's backs a little more, right? It's not a competition between you and somebody else. If you want it to be, then go join a competition or whatever that would be, whatever thing. But in the gym, get out there. Everyone's battling for their own stuff. Just be supportive in that process. And if you're a company or you're a trainer, whatever it is, you shouldn't get frustrated by that type of thing, right? That's an opportunity for you to increase your revenue, an opportunity for you to do what you want to be doing, which is help people. And if you're somebody and you're getting bombarded with that type of individual or trainer or business, there's plenty of people out there who are willing to help you. But that was my side rant. If you know, you know. If not, we'll move forward. So goals here. I got them on my phone here. We're going to kind of start, because it's a fitness podcast and we're kind of talking about wellness. I'm going to talk about leaning out. My goal here is to lean out. So I'm like second week now into kind of a more I'll call it a diet, right? So I made the wise decision to, after my meet December 9th, take about a week off. I was in Disney World or Disneyland. Yeah, no, Disney World, Florida. And we were just partying, having a great time. Came back, spent the next 2 weeks, had to get my diet back, just finding some good, some good levels there. And I jumped on the RP diet app. So best shape I've ever been in was on the RP diet app. I've been using it now for about 3 years. The best shape ever was actually the summer of COVID, spring, summer. I was basically, we all were on lockdown. So I was working out in my basement, didn't have a lot of access to big, heavy weights. So that was kind of a new thing. I walked around a lot because it was just nice out and I was trying to get outside. And my eating was like on point because we didn't go anywhere. I didn't go out and, go out to eat and do that. So a lot of those same rules apply, right? Obviously, we now are able to do that. We're post that COVID shutdown era. But what I'm doing now is I'm kind of cutting back on going out and trying to have a little more control over my meal. My wallet's happy too, so which bleeds into some other goals. So when I'm using this Repetide app, I'm following my macros, and I'm really just plugging away. So if you guys have not tried the RP Diet app and you're wondering why is Mike love this so much, you can check it out. I'll put a show note down there, but it's just they have a great sale going on. But anyways, it's an app where, unlike other apps like my fitness pal, other ones, they obviously you track your macros. You got to weigh your food. It's a little more in depth, but it's super easy because it's like I go down and have a meal. Say I want eggs, boom, I say eggs. Put my slider. It kind of fills out my budget for that meal. Tells me, Mike, eat 2 eggs there. I want oatmeal. I pick my carb source. Then if I have fat source left over, I might add some peanut butter. Tells me how much it is. I weigh it, eat it, on to the next one. Super easy. And then every week I weigh in. I first of all I track all my meals. So five meals a day for me. If I make the meal properly, I say yes, we made it. If I was over under calories, I make that adjustment. So it gives me a meal adherence score for the week, and then I obviously weigh in, and it gives me kind of charts of where I'm going, and then it allows me to see the rate at which I'm losing weight in this aspect with my fat loss, but also with bulking. And it will make recommendations. Hey, like, we're losing weight too slow, we're losing weight too fast. We should adjust the macros, and does a week by week. It's all AI algorithm based. So super awesome on that front. So that's something that I've been doing. It's honestly not too much more to say about it because it's an awesome app. But it's something where I'm taking a good 6 to 8 weeks here. I'm not being super aggressive. I'm just being consistent, right? Just like anything, consistency over putting everything all in and then maybe making your goal, right? Or you get there and you run yourself through the ground. Especially when I'm trying to lose body fat and still have a physique. So if that's your goal, slower and steady wins the race. I know it's not what people want to hear, but that's what you're hearing right now. So next one here, that's kind of straightforward. Leaning out, it's going to come down to diet. Now, when it comes down to my workouts are a little different. I've been doing a lot more. I still am Olympic weightlifting. I like Olympic weightlifting, but I want to be able to kind of condense that training time because I want to be able to do other things, i.e., like a lot of like higher volume work. I want to build some mass. Obviously, there's an aesthetic component there. So Olympic weightlifting, it just takes a lot of time. So I'm still doing my Olympic lifts, right? But I'm putting them into complexes. So I might do like, 2 power cleans, a power jerk, in a complex every 2 minutes, right? And it's kind of EMOMs or every 2 minute work. Just getting it in there. I'm not so worried about lifting above 80% or so, unless it feels good. I'm just kind of getting my volume in. So very much like a base block there. Then I'm going into my strength work. When I call it strength work, it's like foundational work. So I'm really, still my total rep count is like 4 to 8 reps on that, big, heavy compounds. I'm doing all kinds of different stuff, whether it's clusters, waves, whatever it is. But I'm just getting still, I would call it strength in like an accumulation phase. I'm just accumulating volume. And then I'm putting a lot of my hypertrophy work. So I've been doing a lot of like, not like 10 by 10 stuff, like high volume, but I really like doing a lot of high volume because uh, it allows me to get a bunch of volume in, like, 60, 70% on my Mac, maybe 60, 65%. quick, short rest periods, I get a great muscle pumps. So I can, do 10 sets of bicep curls in like 10 minutes or 12 minutes, and I can get in and move out. So I've been doing a lot of that, ending it, or I'm doing like supersets. Sometimes I'm just doing straight up like 10 sets of chest flies, or maybe I get a good pump after 6 sets, and then I do the 4 sets of, push ups or something, or dumbbell bench. But I do a lot of that at the end of my workout, whatever the goal focus for that day, the muscle group, that's what I'm hitting. And then, so all of that, I'm just doing a lot more work. So that is going to help kind of burn a little more calories. Versus me doing heavy singles on snatches and squats and all that. It's just a different training phase that I'm in right now. And then it also allows me just flexibility to move around, have some fun, do some new movements. If I go to a global gym or at my gym, I can kind of adapt. And I enjoy that bodybuilding. So that's something that I'm doing there. And if that's you, right? Like, having that high volume phase at times. Obviously, if you're a strength or athlete, you got to obviously lift heavy at points, but it's beneficial sometimes to take 1 or 2 months, especially after like a heavy cycle there, to get out there and start doing some higher volume work. You don't have to be doing 30 reps, right? But expand your rep range, get a good muscle pump, chase that muscle pump, uh, you know, get some good muscle growth there, and then you can transition that. Now that you've kind of dropped the bigger engine and horsepower, you can then fine tune that to whatever needs you want. And it's also, I think, mentally, it's a good break to kind of go through that kind of stuff. And then lastly, what I'm doing, I'm adding in some cardiovascular work. I wouldn't even call it like a lot of cardio, because like 2 days a week, I'm doing a lot of like interval running work. So like every minute I'll run for like 20 or 30 seconds. Build, I try to get up, 10, 12, 14 miles an hour and just kind of hold that pace. I want to, 80, 90% kind of speed. I still have my good form, but I'm feeling things, right? I'm not fully opening up. And then I'm walking. And then I might do another day of like 30 minutes of like elliptical, or kind of like a circuit. Maybe I'm rowing, easy pace, biking. Um, Couple of reasons I'm doing that. Obviously, I'm 35. I want to just continue to feel healthy as I run around outside. I have young nieces, nephews. At some point, I want to have a family, so I just want to be able to maintain that level of athleticism, just that I kind of would need. I'm still walking, but it is nice to be able to move explosive and fast and transition it outside the gym, and not have my hamstrings hurting or knees hurting because I'm going on, running my nephew down, who is running down the street or whatever. And then I think also it's important, when you do a lot of that sprint work, it's great for muscle growth, right? It can help complement a lot of that fast twitch stuff that I'm working still on my goals. I would rather do that than just go run like 3 miles straight. And then lastly, uh, just that long duration kind of heart rate's up, sweating, right? I'm not doing it for like, oh, I burned 300 calories so I can eat 300 calories. I view my cardio as a way to improve just general heart health, but then also to just improve like capillary density in the muscle tissues, improve mitochondria count, which is all going to help recovery. It's all going to help, obviously, your cardiac system, and then muscle growth too, right? Like cardio, when done in not high volumes that it conflicts with your training, it's going to help you recover properly. It's going to help you improve blood flow. It's going to give you more stamina endurance during those work sets, right? So if you're doing, high rep sets of leg presses, instead of being restricted and limited by your breathing, or your lack of oxygen coming in because your cardiovascular system is horseshit, you can go out and you can, maybe do a little more volume. You can recover a little more, and all that's going to help increase that muscle mass. So that's kind of where I'm with that. I don't abuse it. I'm not out there running marathons or half marathons. I've done that life. I'm doing it specifically to help me with kind of the little goals that I have there. So a little bit goes a long way. And on that same note, if you are like, okay, cool, I'm going to do this stuff. I think it's important, right? If you have a very stressful life and your recovery's crap already, and you're already aches and pains, maybe going out and doing like super high intensity sprints right out of the gates, probably not the best idea, right? Like that's still super stressful. It's I think it's probably beneficial maybe if you're all the way up here and you're Your sympathetic nervous system's going crazy, right? Your adrenals are all going crazy because maybe you're sleep deprived, or your diet's crap, or your sleep's crap, or you're working out and you're barely recovering. You just got compounding, stressors. Maybe it's helpful to hit that like zone two work, right? Which is just go in there, sweat, still get your heart rate up in that 60, 70% and just coast there, right? Might not be the hardest workout, but that's okay. There's a lot of benefit for that. It's going to help you out there. Um, so that's kind of where I'll live in that like 80, 75, 85% range. I don't really go too crazy with this hit stuff there. Not saying it's not what you should be doing, but it's something you should be aware of if you're already struggling with recovery, but you're like, hey man, I want to take these teachings that Mike's got going on there. Um, and you can comment below with any questions you have. But this is just, again, these are my goals, kind of my views on how I'm going to attack my training, but just some tidbits I think would be helpful for you guys. And then, so we've went through, obviously, my diet's kind of the goal there. I'd like to about 190 to step down 195 today. I'd like to get down like I was 186 at the bottom of my last like super like the best cut I've ever had. I'm not saying I want to go down there right now, but if I can get down to like high 180s and see what like losing 5 pounds of body fat looks like, that'd be pretty cool, right? And that'd be like March. And then from there, I could say, okay, maybe I take another 6 to 8 weeks, hang out here, you know, and then continue my cut, or I'm starting the summer cut now. Um, integrating cardio is also going to help with that. So then what next we have is I'm all about expanding skill sets. So obviously I have my skills as a coach and what I'm doing in business, but expanding skill sets to allow me to have higher income, right? That's kind of a goal for me, whether that's not necessarily so I can spend more, but I want to save more. I want to, be able to um, have money in the bank when we start a family, if I want to travel, whatever it is, they kind of call it like FU money, right? And that freedom to have that, it allows you to, take other risks in life and have some security. So easiest way to do that is to learn new skills and progress yourself. So with that, last year 2021, a big move I had was I got into real estate and we bought a 4 unit. And since then I have learned a lot. And now I'm at a stage here where I've learned some management. Obviously, I've had to do with tenants, this and that. But the next thing is I want to learn how to, turn that unit over, try and rehab it a little bit, and just try that whole game to be able to obviously increase the property value and all that stuff. So that's been something. It's been a challenge. I could have a whole podcast on kind of my year one learning lessons. But I think it's important to step outside of your comfort zone. That's something I kind of had the courage looking back now to do it, because I told myself forever I was gonna, and a year ago I did. And now it's kind of not fake it till you make it, but there's a point of it where you got to just, trust in who you are, be able to continue to do it, surround yourself with people that, will guide you. They won't do it for you, that you still have to do it. So, that's kind of where I'm at right now. So that's something, it's cool to look back and see, but it's also, I know there's challenges right now that I'm dealing with, and it's a learning experience. But I think it's important for you guys to look at what you're doing. This is kind of outside the gym talk here. Look at what you're doing and just pick something that you can improve upon. And then obviously for me, I want to improve upon it so that I can prepare a better, healthier future, so that, maybe I don't have as much stress on, continuing to grind the business so hard as I start having a family, whatever it is, whatever that reason is for you, that's for you to decide. But that's a goal for me. And then, kind of that goes into like savings, right? Like I know it's the Barbell CEO podcast. Coaches might listen to this, young people might listen to this, right? And working out, and I'm more than just that, right? Like I work out, I have a gym, I have a business. I do that because obviously that's income for me, and it allows me to have a certain lifestyle and do certain things. And I want to be able to continue that, especially when, I like to travel, I like to go fishing, I have hobbies outside of the gym. So being able to earn more and more or save and spend less, um, save more, spend less, and just trying to maximize all the vehicles out there, and wherever you're at with this, there's whether you got a 401k plan, whether you got a Roth IRA, whether you're self-employed like me and you have an individual 401k which I just set up, which I should have been doing a long time ago, whether you got a brokerage account or whatever it is. I think there's a lot of ways that you can get going with this. I think probably the easiest one is, if you have a 401k and your employer matches it, match it. But a lot of people stop there. And if you're young, old, wherever it is, I challenge you guys this year to see if you can increase your savings rate, right? Like how much money you coming in, see how much you're saving in terms of putting in investing and this and that. If you're doing, 5% or 10% or 15%, challenge yourself, can you put in 20%? Can you go 30%? If you're at 5%, can you put in 10%, right? Challenge yourself in this quarter one. How you do that? Maybe it's picking up a side hustle, learning some secondary skills. If you already kind of have a decent income, it's probably your spending, right? Where can you cut back spending? I'm not going to go too crazy into this. I could go all into this stuff. I love that stuff just as much as I love working out. But uh, those are some of my goals there. And then lastly, this kind of wraps it all up is, when I was doing a lot of this like planning and looking at how I want to strategize my investing and my business and all that stuff, was looking at how I want to spend my time, right? Somebody asked, if you were retiring, where would you want to spend your time? What would you want to do? And I was like, well, man, I probably still want to be in the gym. I probably would still, so I could do that for a while. I'm not burnt out with that. Definitely not 40 hours in there, but maybe like a couple. Or maybe I have the choice if I want to, right? So don't count on that for income. But I would love to travel. I'd love to go fishing. If I could go fishing, a couple times a week, that'd be great. I'd love to spend time with my family. Um, I'd be a pretty happy dude, right? So understanding that, like, I don't have to wait until, whatever, 60, 65, 70 to do that, right? It might mean I need to clean up my schedule currently, right? Like I need to prioritize my time a little more, right? So when I set those timelines for work or whatever, have schedules and I have class times, I need to kind of prioritize those, right? Because it's very easy for life and other things to just start dragging your windows out to where you lost time for yourself, right? And that's not on the other things or other people or other circumstances. Some of that's on you. Some of it's obviously it's unavoidable. So trying to find the things you can control, and maybe you scrape up throughout the week a couple hours of time, maybe 2 or 3 hours of time. Maybe that's now enough for you to attack a side hustle, or maybe it's enough for you to go to the gym. Maybe it's enough time for you to go fishing, right? Whatever it is, or research going fishing, or reading more. That is really something that I've been doing, and yeah. So that's kind of my goals. I know we kind of ripped through them, and I know it's a lot about my goals, but I'm hoping you guys are taking a lot from this. Because I've listened to other people, putting out their goals there and kind of laying them out and how they're attacking with their mindset. And I found it very helpful. And, you guys been with me for a while now. If you haven't, thanks for joining. But this is stuff that I'm passionate about. And I'm all here to help you guys. So comment below if you're on YouTube or anything. And if not, go to YouTube, comment below there. Or you can hit me up on Instagram at Mike J. Doer. But I appreciate you guys tuning in. And until next time, lay out those goals, get a whiteboard out, get your phone out, write them down. Don't just have them up here. And then set some action steps and spend a weekend. If you got to get online, open up some new bank accounts, investments accounts, or, look up some workout programs or some local gyms around you. Whatever it is, commit to doing it. And hopefully a Q2 2023 will be light years ahead. All right. Have a good one. Bye.